Hello, in this video I will show you how to fix laptops. This is a HP laptop with motherboard problem. You can see this is a HP laptop, and then this particular fix can work for all kinds of laptops motherboard: HP, Dell, Asus, Lenovo and the rest. Now this particular laptop doesn't turn on, so I'm going to turn it on here so you can see there is no light at all. Nothing is coming up, so I'll plug in my charger and see if there will be any indication on the laptop. So let's see. There is no light on the laptop at all. So with my multimeter I'm going to fix this particular laptop. So the first thing I want to do is to remove the battery and the back casing. So I'm going to remove this back casing first so that I can remove the RAM. The RAM has to go out because I'm working on the board. The RAM has to go out, right? Then I'm going to remove the battery. When you're working on the board, make sure your laptop is always switched off. If possible, remove the battery. So I'm going to remove the keyboard now. But before I remove the keyboard, I just want to power it on one more time. These are some of the things you need to do if you want to troubleshoot your laptop. So I am going to push the power button so that it can drain out any excess, any static charge on the motherboard. So you have to do this while you've removed the battery and my RAM is out. So I want to drain out the excess charge on it. So I've plugged in my charger to it, and then I'm going to hold the power button, and this will help drain out the excess charge on the laptop. Now I'm going to remove, this is the hard drive. I'm going to remove the hard drive and keep aside. And remember, my goal is to get access to the motherboard so that I can work on it, because I know this problem is likely board related. So I'm going to remove all the screws around this area so I can be able to remove the motherboard and work on it. So for this particular laptop, since it's not turning on at all, there's several things you could check. Number one, it can be from the power adapter. These are some of the things that cause your laptop not to turn on. If your power adapter is bad, you replace it. You can try with another power adapter. Another thing is the power jack. Check if the power jack is fine. Sometimes if the power jack is faulty, your laptop will not turn on. Another thing you need to check is the ICs that surround the power area, the power switch area. Check, and just to be sure that those ICs, none of them is burnt. I'm going to show you all of this. First, one of the first thing you do is your physical examination. You examine it physically just to be sure that nothing is burnt there. So I'm going to remove this casing at the back, and then I'll show you where you need to look at on the motherboard. Just stay with me. So I've removed the screws that is holding the keyboard. So I'll just gently remove the keyboard from the top this way. Remember, this disassembly is for this particular model. Your own laptop might be a bit different, so the process might be a bit different, but the goal is to work on the motherboard. So this particular fix will work on virtually any laptop motherboard. So I'm going to check if there's any screw around here that is still holding the case down, and then I'm going to remove all the clips here and all the cables that is attached to the motherboard. So these are some of the things you need to watch out for when you're working on a laptop. You have some clips and screws around. You need to make sure all of them is attached so that you don't break any of the cables while you're removing the keyboard. Alright, so this is the plastic case. I'm going to set this aside. Now I have full access to the motherboard. Now this is the motherboard area, and this is the heatsink. You can see the processor under the heatsink. Here is the processor area. So I'll show you one or two things that you need to check if your laptop is not turning on, and that is after you've eliminated some of these things. Number one is check your processor. Sometimes if the cooling paste has dried up, the laptop begins to malfunction. Now this particular laptop, the cooling paste there has dried up, which means the cooling paste has expired. So I will fix another cooling paste on the processor and then see if that will help make the laptop turn on. If it doesn't turn on, that means we have to do work on some of the ICs on the board. I'll show you how to read some of the ICs, especially some of the transistors. I'll show you how to work with them. Some of the MOSFETs, I'll show you how to. I have a lot of MOSFETs on this particular board and ICs. I'll show you how to troubleshoot them. So you are going to make use of a multimeter. If you have a multimeter, make use of a multimeter. Set it to continuity. So I'm going to set my multimeter to continuity, and then I will do some reading just to see if there is a short somewhere. Okay, so now if you are to test a MOSFET, to test a MOSFET, this is what you do. You are to look for, depending on the kind of MOSFET you're working on. My camera can be able to pick the particular MOSFET I am reading right now because the camera is a bit far from this, and if I try to zoom in, you might lose the quality of the video. So I will leave it this way, but I will just explain what to do. Now, MOSFET are those components on your laptop that look like IC. They are just like IC with several legs, several pins on it. So what you do is you try to locate the gate. There is a gate there is a drain, and there is a source. Now, while working on it, if you found continuity between the drain and the source pin of any MOSFET, that MOSFET is likely bad, especially on a laptop motherboard like this. This is what I mean. You can see this particular chip here. I don't know if you can pick it clearly. There's an IC there. You can see this IC here. I hope the camera can pick it. Now, one of the first things you check for is physical damage. Is it burnt? If it is not burnt and the laptop is not turning on, now the first thing you do is you read the pins. We have pins that are drain. Another part of the pin is gates, then the other part is source. Now between the source and the drain, put one probe on the source and one probe on the drain and check if there's continuity. If there's continuity there, likely that particular chip is bad. So you just check the number on that particular chip and then Google it online and use the same number to get the exact same chip, then you replace it with it. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to check that particular chip just to be sure. Now this particular issue, I for one, I'm not sure it's processor related. This is not processor related. It has to do with power. One of the power chip is bad. So I'll just take my time and read it. Is it that the MOSFET, one of the MOSFET is bad, or one of the transistor is bad, or likely one of the resistor is bad? So I'm going to check it. So first of all, one of the things you need to find out is how to identify a MOSFET, a resistor, transistor, so that you know what you're working with. So I'm going to take a closer look at the power area for physical damage. That is one of the first things you check when working on a motherboard. Check for physical damage. If there's a physical damage somewhere, likely one or two components around that area where there's physical damage is bad. So what you do is you replace that particular component. So I'm going to take a closer look. If possible, a hand microscope will work. There's this hand microscope you can, this magnifier rather. There's a magnifier you can use to check all of this. And now this particular processor, I'm suspecting that it has an issue because it's dried up. There's no physical damage around here, and I've been able to read the power button. There is no issue with the power button. So what I'm going to do right now is to scrape the old cooling paste off and apply new cooling paste, and hopefully the problem is solved. So thank you. I'll see you some other time.